This is a tutorial video for Anvil for practice for the examinations, preparation for the examinations. I'm going to create a little app in Anvil and show you guys how to do it, right? So first thing I do is I go and I choose a blank app over here, and I'm going to choose a material design app, and I just wait for Anvil to log on, and we start off with this screen with the blue line across the top, and we're ready to go. Now, the app I'm going to create is a gift generator, which selects a gift from a list and gives it to the person whose name's there. Now, we're going to be using snake case as the casing for our titles and our text boxes and those sorts of things, so I'll explain that as I go along. So the first thing I do is I go over to here and I'm going to get a label here. So I'm going to grab this label, I'm going to drop it in up here, and I'm going to name that label. Now, as I said, we're going to use snake case, so I'm going to highlight here, I'm going to put LBL underscore title. All right, and this is snake case where it's got the underscore in there. And I've got the word title, so I've called it LBL title, and there it is there. Now I'm going to put my title in there right now while I'm here. I'm going to call this gift generator. Right, so there we go. I've got my gift generator, and you can see the titles come up there straight away. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to get the name for the user to enter their name, but it's not where they enter their name, it's the title that says please enter your name. So I go up here again and I'm going to get another label. I'm going to click on this label, I'm going to drag it in and put it into the main box here. I'm going to go down, bottom right hand corner to the properties, click on the pencil, and again it's a label, so I'm going to go LBL underscore, and this one I'm going to call name. LBL underscore name. So that's where they're going to enter their name. So we better tell them that. So I'm going to go to the text section. I'm going to say, please enter your name, colon. Right, there we go. So I've created that little box that says, please enter your name. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is, put in a box where they can enter their name. So I go up here and I click on this text box section here. I grab the text box and I put it in under the please enter your name, and you can see it says text box. I go down to my naming properties here and it's text, so TXT underscore, and I'm going to call it name because I want them to enter their name, right? So text name. So there I've got a section where they put their text name in. Now I don't need to add any text or anything in here because it already says above that, please enter your name, so we know that that's where they're going to enter their name. Right, the next thing I want is a button, and the button's going to generate the name. So I put the button in there. There it is. It's still in the box. It says button 1. I go down to my naming conventions, and it's a button, BTN underscore, and I'm going to call this one generate, because that's what the button's going to be, a generate button. Okay, now I'm going to go down to the properties. Instead of having the word button 1, I'm going to write generate. And I'm going to make a couple of other changes. I'm also going to go to the appearance. I'm going to change my background color to the orange 500, and I'm going to change my foreground color, which essentially is the text color, to white. So there we go. I've got a button in, and it's right in the middle of the page, right where I want it to be. It's nice orange with blue with white writing on the top. It's perfect. Now, when the person clicks that generate button, I want it to output some results. So I'm going to get another text box here. I'm going to put that underneath the generate button. I'm going to go down to my labeling here, and it's text, so TXT underscore, and this is going to be my output. So I'm going to put the word output in there and just leave it like that. So, oh, did that work? That may not have worked. Let's check that again. Yep, text output, so that worked. Now, there's a couple of things that I could do here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run it and preview it and make sure it looks like what I want it to look like. So I hit run. I'm going to call it the gift generator. There we go, the gift generator. And hit gift generator. Preview it on my screen, and there we go. So the user will come in here, they'll type their name in, click generate, and then it should tell them what gift they get. Now we haven't done the coding yet, so it's not going to work yet. But in terms of the style and look, that's exactly what I want it to look like. It's perfect, right? So I'm just going to hit stop there. Go back to here. Now, there's a couple of things we need to do. When this button is actually clicked, I want it to do something. So at the moment, it's just a button on the page. It doesn't do anything. So I'm going to just scroll down here on the right-hand side, and I'm going to say when it's clicked, I want something to happen. And so as soon as I click that, it takes me into the code section. Now, I could go back to the design and look at the design, but then I can go into the code and this is where I'm at. Now, it auto-generates this line of code for me. Define btn underscore generate, which is what I called the generate, and it's saying if it's clicked, then you're going to do any arguments or do anything that's in this code down here. Essentially, that's what it's saying. If you click the button, it's going to do the stuff that's down here. Now, let's have a look at the design. What do I actually want it to do? I want it to take the person's name, and I want to output the name, and then something like, you are going to receive, and then it's going to tell you what the gift is as well. So there's kind of three parts to it. The name, a little statement, and then what the gift is that they're going to receive. So I'm going to go back to the code here, and I'm going to create a variable. I'm going to call this name. Now the name variable is just a box that's going to store some information. I want it to store the name that came from the design. So if I look back up here, it's text underscore name. I want it to store that information. So to do that, we write self dot txt underscore name dot text, because that's the type of information that's being given to it. So the name of it is called txt underscore, and the type of information we're getting is text. It's a string text. So we've created a variable there, and we're going to get the name from there. Now we also want to have a statement that says something like you will get or you will receive. So I'm just going to create a new variable here. I'm going to call it state. I'm going to say equals, and then I put inverted commas. And inside that, I'm actually going to put a space, and then I'm going to type my sentence, and then I'm going to put a space at the end. So that way that the name that we create isn't stuck to my first word, and the last word of my statement isn't stuck to the gift name. So I'm going to put a space in there as well. Now let's say you will receive a space, and then I'm going to put my gift at the end, what they're going to receive. All right, so far so good. Now we want to choose a gift, okay? Now, I don't want it always to be the same gift. I actually want it to be a different gift, one of maybe 4 different gifts. So I'm going to create a list of gifts here. Now, a list is where you put lots of different things in square brackets, and then we're going to choose one thing out of the list. So I'm going to call it gift. I'm going to say equals, and then I'll do 2 square brackets. And inside my square brackets, I'm going to put my first double inverted commas, and I'm going to say my first gift might be a cat. Then I put a comma. Next set of double inverted commas could be a dog, comma. My next set of inverted commas could be a rabbit, comma. And my next set of inverted commas could be, I don't know, a mouse. Stay with the theme of animals. There we go. So now I've got 4 potential gifts for my person: a cat, a dog, a rabbit, or a mouse. Okay, that's great. Now, what I could do is say, all right, I want the name, then I want the statement, then I want the gift. But wait a minute, how do I choose which gift? So we want the computer at random to choose one of those gifts. Right now, random's a method that we could use. So what we could do is go up here to our import, and we could say, let's import the idea of a module called random. So let's go from random, import everything. So star means everything. So it's going to import this module called random, which then gives the computer the power to choose something at random. Now we could do a statement like gift equals random dot choice in brackets, and we could do something like that. Now I don't want to do that. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to say number equals rand int brackets 0, 3, and I'll explain this. This is a little bit more complicated way to do it, but I actually think this is a better way to do it for what we're doing right now. So I've created a variable called number. I've told the computer to get a random number, any random number, between 0 and 3 inclusive. So they could get the number 0 and it could get the number 3. Now the reason why I've said 0 to 3 and not 1 to 4 is because when you have a list, so down here down the bottom, when you have a list, each position in the list has a number, and those positions always start at 0. So cat would actually be at position 0, dog is 1, rabbit is 2, mouse is 3. So if I wanted to remember that, I could put in a comment, right? A comment in there, and I could say something like position, the first position in a list is 0. Then 1, then 1, 1, and so on. Okay, so I've just put a little comment in there so that I know the first position on my list is a 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, and my computer's going to randomly choose a number from 0 to 3. So it's randomly going to choose a number. But it's choosing a number. It hasn't still chosen which one in the gift section. It's just chosen the number. So what I can do down here is I can create a variable, and I'm going to call it the gift. Right, I'm going to do it camel case with a capital G, the gift. Okay, now I'm just going to say the gift equals a selection from the gifts. So I'm going to say go up to the gifts and get something from here. And the position that I'm going to put it in, I'm putting square brackets in here. The index position I'm going to put it in is called number. So I'll explain this line of code here. Create a new variable. In that variable, go and get something out of the gifts list and choose it according to the random number that the computer made up here. Put it into that position there, right? And that should put it in there. Then the last thing we have to do is just join all of these things together. So we might say, where do we want to put all these final outputs? Well, let's go back to our design. We want it to be in text underscore output. So let's go to the code. Let's say self.txt underscore output dot text, because that's how I want it to be, is a piece of text, equals name, which is the one from here, plus state, which is my sentence, plus, and I don't want to put gift because I don't want all of these, I just want the gift, the final gift. So, the gift. And that should be it. Our program should be perfect. Everything should run perfectly now. I've got my little function here that when the button's clicked, that I get the name from the name input box, I put this little sentence in, and I choose a gift out of one of these 4 using a random integer number from up here and an index position here, which then outputs the final thing. Now obviously the last thing we do is we run the program and test it, make sure that there's no bugs. We hit run, here it is, I'm going to type my name, Nick, I hit generate. Nick, you will receive a cat.